What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. I'm John, the video guy. In this video, it is my 100th episode. So welcome to the 100th video on my YouTube channel. I hope you guys learned something. I know I learned a lot from making 100 videos, but in this video, my very first video when I started on YouTube was the top 5 video editing tips. And this video, I'm gonna kind of go back to that, but in this video, I'm going to be covering the top 5 tips to edit faster, specifically in Premiere Pro. So if that sounds good to you guys, feel free to hit the like button if you find value, and let's dive into this video. All right, so the first thing when it comes to editing faster as a video editor, and before you even start editing Premiere Pro, I think it really comes down to the first thing you want to consider is where you're editing. So are you editing on your computer, an external drive? And when it comes to speed, you really want to edit on your computer's hard drive first rather than an external hard drive. Now, it's not always possible to do this, but usually and typically computer hard drives are a lot faster than external hard drives. And the reason you'd want to do this is as a video editor to speed up your workflow, the computer can read the video footage and the graphics and the assets a lot quicker if it's on the internal drive of the computer. Now, to show you guys the difference in the speed, really, there's a cool app by Blackmagic that tests the speed of drives, and I'll link it down in the video description. But if you open it up, you can really test the speed of your computer internal drive or your external drive if you are using an external hard drive. For example, here I'll open up this disk speed test app and I'll click on the gear, and what you can do is select the drive. And for example, to test the hard drive speed of my internal, my MacBook, I'll just go to my downloads folder, click open, and then click speed test. And then you can see the write and read speeds of the actual drive. So you can see it's writing 1200 megabytes a second and it's reading 2500 megabytes a second. And if you're working on specific video footage, you can use this data here to see if it will play back correctly or have any issues reading or writing certain video footage. And to show you the difference here, I'm going to go to a HDD, a hard disk drive, and open this and do a speed test, and you can see it's a lot slower. And typically external hard drives are a lot slower, especially HDDs. You'll want, if you are editing on an external hard drive, you'll want an SSD over an HDD. And specifically, if you are editing on an SSD, I highly recommend these SanDisk drives. I'll link these down in the video description. They're really good drives. I've had pretty much no problems with these. They are really solid and they've never failed me once, so I highly recommend these. It's not always possible to have, all your files or all your projects on your computer drive. If you don't want to spend the money and get a 8 terabyte SSD, which is really costly, and if you work in an agency or you work on several different projects, these can exceed terabytes of data. So I highly recommend using these type of SSDs if you have to go on an external hard drive. But if you're working on just one project at a time, then working on your internal hard drive disk is the best option for speed in Premiere Pro. All right, so let's move on to the second thing. The second thing I want to cover is the organizational path of your folders. So where are things located on your computer or on your external hard drive, and how does that correlate to what's in Premiere Pro? A good rule of thumb and what I've followed all the time is kind of trying to mirror what's in Premiere Pro to my Finder or File Explorer window. So I'll show you how that works. So in my Finder here, I just have a sample project, and I have a root folder for my projects, and everything's in like a main folder here called source files. So all my audio files, my music, sound effects here, my graphics are in a graphics folder. My Premiere Pro project specifically is in a projects file folder. And then all my videos are in their own folder. And if we look in Premiere Pro here, you'll see that I have it almost identical to the way it's displayed inside my Finder window. So having it this way organized, almost mirrored, really helps save time because you never have to question yourself on where files are. Keeping yourself really organized like this will help you become a faster video editor inside Premiere Pro. Now, everyone's brain works differently, so if you find a different way you want to work with this, feel free to go with that way. For me, just having everything mirrored like this really saves me time. I don't have to think, double think where things are all the time. It's really nice and organized. All right, so the third one and the third thing I'm going to go over are shortcuts. If you research how to get faster, you'll hear shortcuts. But in this video, I'm going to be going over the top 10 different shortcuts I use all the time as a video editor. So inside Premiere Pro here, I'm going to show you a few shortcuts, and one of the fastest shortcuts that I've come across as a video editor is called Q and W. So what Q does is essentially if you're in the timeline and you hit Q, it basically trims beginning of the footage to that cut point. And W trims the end, so this part will get deleted if you hit W. And this is really helpful if you're going through footage and you want to trim, certain parts. You can hit Q and W to trim certain things. So, for example, there I just trimmed that part of the footage. The other shortcut is the JKL shortcut. So what J does is go backwards, and what K does is pause, and what L does is forward. So you can easily go backwards, stop, and forwards. And by double clicking on these, you can go a lot faster. So you can see I'm zooming through this footage here. And same with J, if you double click it or triple click it, you'll go backwards a lot faster. And this allows you to go a lot quicker through Premiere Pro to make edits faster. And like going back to the external hard drives and internal hard drives, if you're working on a very fast drive, you'll be able to scrub and preview this footage really quickly. The next shortcut I'll go over is Command Delete, or the Ripple Delete tool. So if you hit Command Delete on your keyboard, you'll completely delete and then ripple delete, which means you'll move all of the clips forward on the timeline back. So say if I click on this hit clip and I hit Command Delete, it basically deletes that clip and slides everything over, saving a few steps. If you just delete and then you have to manually move all the clips, that saves you time. The next one is a custom shortcut that I set up, and that's enable and disable. And I have it set up to where if I just click 0, it enables and disables a clip, which is a nice shortcut to do. To create custom shortcuts, you can always edit your shortcuts by going to Premiere Pro, keyboard shortcuts, and creating your own shortcuts. I did cover this in another video, how to set up custom shortcuts. I'll link that up here in the top corner and also down in the video description if you want to check that video out. Another shortcut is G. So say in this example, there's a lot of audio waves. And if you click G, you can easily adjust the audio gain for a clip. Another one similar to G is Command R. So if you hit Command R, it brings up the clip duration, speed, and duration. The next one is paste attributes. So say in this clip, if I zoom in here and reposition this, and normally if you wanted to copy this type of motion, you would hit Command C and then go to the clip and hit Command V to paste it. But an easy shortcut is to just click on the clip that you want to copy the attributes from, hit Command C, and then the custom shortcut that I set up for this is just Shift V. And this brings up paste attributes. And you can choose which attributes to paste. So in this example, I just want the motion, then click OK. Another shortcut is the up and down arrows. This is nice to scrub through footage quickly, to go through clips to clips. So if you hit up and down on your keyboard, you'll easily go to the next clip that's selected. Another cool shortcut is Option up and down. This basically moves a layer up and down in the timeline. So it basically moves these video and audio clips up and down tracks. So you can use this shortcut to easily move clips up and down in layers. And the last shortcut that I'll show you is Command K, which basically makes a master cut on your timeline. So if you hit Command K, it will make a cut in that area wherever the time code is, which is really nice. It saves you time rather than going to the razor tool and then making a cut this way. Hitting Command K saves you time if you just want to make a master cut on everything on the timeline. All right, so that is the keyboard shortcuts that I highly recommend if you want to get faster in Premiere Pro. Now let's move on to the actual editing phases. And when it comes down to editing, what I find most helpful is edit in passes. So what this means is instead of trying to do, everything to one clip, try to do one task to everything. And once you're done with that task, move on to the next task. So for example, maybe you start cutting and you do a rough cut first, then you do color correction to all the clips, then you do maybe sound design to all the clips. And you work in that way rather than, dropping and dragging a clip and doing one thing, everything to that one clip. You want to do one task to everything. And the reason this works is because of the power of habits. And I actually read this book called The Power of Habit. by Charles Duhigg, and I highly recommend this if you want to learn more about how habits work. Habits are really powerful, and when you get into a groove, you can really knock out and become really fast at doing one thing over and over again. And you can kind of think of this when it comes to video editing. Doing color correction to clips over and over again is a lot faster than trying to switch tasks. So definitely following this framework, it helps you to become a faster video editor. All right, guys, so going into my last thought here on becoming a faster video editor, I always like to follow this framework, and it's called try, fail, repeat. And what this means is, as a video editor, it is an art form, and you don't really get anywhere without trying things. And with trying things, you'll often fail. But what we often think, when we fail, it's the end. And when it comes to video editing, you just kind of want to try different things, see if things work. If it doesn't work, just try again and repeat. And by following this, you can use critical thinking and really develop a fast pattern in trying things and seeing if it works, seeing what does work, what doesn't work, and kind of move on. And I think as video editors, and creative people in general, we often get stuck in this cycle of trying to become a perfectionist. And really what it comes down to is becoming a faster video editor. You just kind of want to break through and just kind of work on becoming, trying different things and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and not being afraid to take risks and trying different things. And this will oftentimes narrow down your edit into, something that works and that hits the final deliverables. And this is a skill that you'll just have to develop over time. And this is something I've developed over time. So, just try, fail, repeat. It's easy as that, guys. If you want to become quick and fast at things, developing critical thinking is definitely a big skill to have. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you found some value in it. If you are new to Premiere Pro and you want to learn more about how to have Premiere Pro work for you, essentially, I did make this video going over the Premiere Pro preferences. I'll link it right up here. I go over some tips to optimize Premiere Pro for your video editing workflow, so feel free to go check that video out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.